Hi everyone, my name is Vassal. I've got another gameplay video for you. This time I'm playing the USSR, so let's jump in. In my starting hand I have Red Scare Purge, so I'm probably gonna headline that. He headlines Europe scoring, basically throwing it away for 0 points. I lead off action round 1 with a coup in Iran and put 3 influence into it. He puts 2 influence into Jordan with Suez Crisis, so he loses Israel and some in UK. I play Destalinization for 3. And I move into Italy and Greece, so basically here I'm pressuring France and at the same time trying to secure the 2 stability battlegrounds in Europe. He plays De Gaulle and puts 2 into France. I play Nuclear Test Ban for 4 and take France. He moves into Iraq. I play Special Relationship for 2. And I attempt a coup in Panama, but I fail. Action round 4, he plays NORAD for 2 ops, moves into Malaysia. I play East European Unrest for 3, I lose Yugoslavia, Poland, Finland. And with the 3, I control Greece and Syria and move into South Korea. He plays Duck and Cover for 2 and takes Thailand. I play Blockade for the event and kick him out of West Germany. So the reason this was probably successful this turn is because I headlined Red Scare Purge. It's a pretty dirty combo and quite lucky that I drew it. Anytime you draw Red Scare Purge on the first turn, it's really good because this turn you're kind of trying to establish a baseline for the rest of the game. So it's the turn where it's most effective. It's less effective for the US player, I would say, because USSR events in the early war are really strong, such as this one. So even when they're Red Scare Purged, they can play their cards for events. So it's especially bad for a US player to be Red Scare Purged because they don't really have like the strongest events or that many strong events yet. Their events come in the mid-war. Last action round, he plays CIA Created for 1 and back in West Germany. So going into turn 2, Defcon moves up to 4 from 3 and USSR player has 3 VP. I hit headline Midley scoring because I had the domination, but he plays Defectors to cancel it. Right off the bat, I coup Thailand with the China card, but I roll a 1, so really I needed a 3 there to take control of Thailand, but didn't get it. He continues to work on West Germany and puts 2 back into Thailand. I play Decolonization, South Africa, Thailand, Indonesia, and Burma. Warsaw Pact. And with the 3 ops, he takes back Thailand, takes Laos, Cambodia, and bumps up West Germany. US-Japan Mutual Defense Pact for 4 gives him Japan. I drop 2 into Pakistan, 1 into Burma, and 1 into South Korea. He tries to play into Pakistani war for the event targeting Pakistan. On a 5 or a 6, my 2 influence would be replaced with 2 influence of his, and he would gain some VP, but he fails. I play Independent Reds for 2 and put 2 into India. He throws away Asia scoring immediately because I don't have a domination yet. I play Korean War for 2 ops to take South Korea. He plays Cambridge 5 for 2 ops and attempts a coup in Iran, but fails. Last action round, I play Marshall Plan for 4, taking Spain, Portugal, and Turkey. So now his activation of Marshall Plan is going to be lackluster. I mean, he gets to control West Germany and gets to work on UK and Canada, but the rest of them aren't that great. Usually you want to put influence in Spain, Portugal, Greece, and Turkey with Marshall Plan. That's why it's actually a pretty good headliner, turn 1 or 2, if those countries haven't already been taken. For his last action round, he plays Fidel, giving me Cuba, and bumps me up in France, or puts 1 into France. The reason this is actually a good play as the US player in the early war is because you actually give the USSR player a non-battleground in one of the coolable regions. So basically what I'm saying is that if, as the USSR player, I drew CIA created, playing it while Defcon was at 2 would allow my US opponent to coup Cuba, because the US player played Fidel. So sometimes it seems bad, but it's okay for that reason. Basically, you give the USSR player a battleground country that you can coup if they're forced to play CIA created, or even if they're not forced to play it, it pressures them. Going into turn 3, Defcon moves up to 3. USSR player still at 3 VP. I headline socialist governments to take back France and hit Italy. He plays containment. I lead off with NATO for 4 ops, take Italy and India. China card for 4, and he flips Burma. So he played the Asia scoring card last turn. The only reason this play would make sense is if he drew it again. I don't know why he's prioritizing it so heavily right now, unless he has the Asia scoring card again. Comic-Con for 3 ops, I coup Panama and I kick him out, so I'm pretty happy with that. Arab-Israeli War for 3 ops, takes Lebanon, Philippines, and UK. And I actually win the war, even though he has no influence there. So I get a few VP. I play Captured Nazi Scientist for the event, gain 2 VP. He plays Indo-Pakistani War again, and would only be successful on a 5 or 6, but he rolls a 6, and he flips India. I imagine he's pretty happy with this, but if he does have the Asia scoring card, well, I guess he saves me from getting like a VP or 2 VPs or something by doing this before playing it. I play Vietnam Revolts. He plays Special Relationship, drops the 2 influence into Italy. So this card is active right now because NATO is in effect. So he gets to put 2 influence in any Western European country and gains 2 VP. I play 5-year plan for 3. And I discard Middle East scoring. So here, my reasoning for this here was that I needed to take Italy back right now. So I'm able to play the card for the event after playing it for ops. So basically, Truman Doctrine would have kicked me out of Italy before I played it for ops, but I play the card for the ops before the event, meaning that the only countries he can target with Truman Doctrine are Austria and Yugoslavia. So, you know, we don't really have enough time for me to take a domination in Middle East anyways to make Middle East scoring effective, which means maybe I should have headlined it when I could have gotten points out of it. But my headline was strong because it allowed me to take back domination in Europe, so, you know, either play would have been solid. Olympic Games for 3, and he drops him into France. And then I'm forced to play Truman. He knows I have it. He asks Truman because he's been counting the cards. Not counting the cards, he knows all the cards in the early war. So I'm forced to play it. And I drop the op into Iraq. For the last action round of early war, he plays Nasser and tries to realign me out of Cuba, but fails. So my hand is kind of bugging out again. You know, can't really see what cards I have. But going into turn 4, the start of the mid-war, Defcon moves up to 3, and I'm still at 3 points. I headline Europe scoring, and he grabs the China card. First action round, I play Che for 3. I put one into Egypt, and I take Iraq, which is a mistake. He plays Sadat expels the Soviets. Really, since I had control of Egypt with 2, I was thinking like I don't want him to coup it, but you know, this card exists. I forgot about it, so I tried to bump it up to 3 to disincentivize my opponent from coupping Egypt, but he happened to have an event which punished me for investing in Egypt. I play Latin American Death Squads, and I attempt to coup in Egypt, but I fail. Cuban Missile Crisis for 3. He takes Libya, 1 into Libya, and he takes Angola and controls Egypt. I brush war Egypt, and I'm successful. Kitchen Debates for 1, he takes Libya. Portuguese Empire crumbles. I play it for the event to take Angola and Southeast African states. He plays Colonial Rearguards, takes Zaire, Nigeria, puts 1 into Indonesia and 1 into Angola. I play OPEC for 3. Angola, Indonesia, and South Africa. So I would have liked to play OPEC for, I mean, it's either 3 ops or 3 VP. You know, maybe more than 3 VP. Maybe 4. But I kind of needed to take back Angola and Indonesia right away, because Indonesia is like a 2-point swing for Southeast Asia scoring. You know, Angola is just an important battleground to fight over. So plays UN intervention on Alend and coups Southeast African states, but he's not very successful. I play Southeast Asia scoring, giving my opponent 4 VP. Romanian abdication for 1, and he coups Southeast African states, puts 3 into it. I space grain sales. And my opponent for the last action round throws away South America scoring. Alright, going into turn 5. VP's at 5 for the USSR player. Defcon moves up to 3. I draw Africa scoring and Central America scoring. I play Central America scoring in the headline for 3 points, and he plays Red Scare Purge on me. I lead off with SALT negotiations for 2 ops and coup Nigeria. It's a big coup. Nuclear test ban. He takes South Africa. I play destalinization. Pull out of Romania and 1 out of Austria. And throw him in Algeria and Botswana. So now I have a domination. He plays puppet governments. Throws 1 into Sudan, 1 into Saharan states, and 1 into Chile. So he's preventing my domination here. A nice smart play, but he's also expanding his reach in South America. We will bury you for 3 ops, and I coup Saharan states. So this is, I mean, I was really hoping to put a lot of influence into Saharan states to prevent him from re-couing it. This is a good amount. 3 is a good amount. I mean, I'd be happier if it was 4. At that point, I would believe that he wouldn't coup it back. But actually, he just takes the domination by flipping Angola. So that's an option I didn't even really see. I definitely should have tried to overprotect Angola at some point, because we were 3-2 for me in there. So that's a better way to prevent it from losing the domination, prevent myself from losing the domination. South African unrest. Thankfully I have this card. So I break his control in South Africa and I take back Angola. I've got the domination again. He plays John Paul elected, takes back South Africa, and takes Zimbabwe. At this point I can't play either of these cards, Duck and Cover or Voice of America for ops, so I just play Africa Scoring. I gain 1 VP. He flips Pakistan. Another mistake by me. You should never leave an Asia battleground, a 2 stability Asia battleground, either Thailand or Pakistan, at 2 influence more than your opponent when they have the China card. The thing is, I think he actually took the China card this turn, so it may be something that I just forgot about it. Either this turn or the last, I can't remember. I believe it was last turn, because this turn he Red Scare purged me. So he took it back last turn, meaning I had more than enough time to realize what was happening, and kind of all I had to do was put 1 influence in Pakistan. Now he has a domination in Asia, so you can see how big of a mistake something seemingly small like that can be. All it would have taken is 1 influence in Pakistan, and he probably wouldn't be able to take this domination ever. So something I didn't really touch on was before, when he took Burma with the China card, and then flipped India that same turn. I really thought he had Asia Scoring, that's why he was hurrying, but he was kind of feigning me out there, which is kind of cool. You know, sometimes someone will go buck wild and start investing heavily in a region because you're kind of putting just 1 or 2 influence there, or making some small plays there, and really maybe you were going for another region or something that you were working on at the same time. But the thing is, those weren't small plays, so I figured he did have Asia Scoring, but he didn't. I space Duck and Cover. Plays nuclear subs for 2. And he overprotects Thailand and Pakistan, because now I have the China card back. So he doesn't forget. I play Asuri River Skirmish to Space Race. And then for the last action round, US player plays Willy Brandt and takes back West Germany. Going into turn 6, I'm at 12 VP. So I'm gaining a few VP here and there, you know, from cards. 3 from Central America Scoring, 1 from Africa Scoring. And then in the early game I got a nice amount of VP from Europe. I headline Liberation Theology, he headlines Missile Envy, grabs Alliance for Progress. Unfortunately, it's his event, so, and it's not anything for him, no VP. And I take Mexico and put one into Costa Rica with Liberation Theology. I have to play Missile Envy for 2, so I coup Zaire, but I can't take it, so he takes it right back, and also takes Afghanistan. U2 incident for 3. I'm trying to realign him out of Chile. I fail. Those were -1 realignment rolls. Cambridge 5 for 2 ops. And he realigns me out of Mexico and hits me in Cuba. I put some back in Cuba and 1 into Panama. Summit for 1 op. Realigns me out of Cuba. Shuttle Diplomacy for 3, 1 in Nicaragua, 1 in Colombia. And I overprotect Angola. So I'm starting to overprotect stuff, so that's good. He plays Korean War, but South Korea wins. He coups Colombia. So here I can either take Cuba or I can coup Colombia back. Allowing him to take Venezuela is worse, so I'm going to coup Colombia. Or actually, I guess I don't. I remembered myself doing that, but I guess I didn't. So, but now that I'm thinking about it, really, he was in Colombia. If I failed that coup, like if I didn't at least kick him out, then he could take Panama. And he could still take Venezuela. So that's a big loss. So basically, I guess what I'm doing here is trying to like play safe or something. Take Panama for sure. And then also I've got this nice little stronghold where it's kind of like a 2-step process for the US player if they want to kick me out of Cuba now. Because first he has to coup Nicaragua, then he can realign me out of Cuba. So I've got a nice fortification there. And then I played it safe, I guess, by taking Panama. But okay, he doesn't really take advantage of his Colombia, and he goes for the coup on Nicaragua. That's kind of interesting. I think as him, I would have put those 2 into Venezuela, just to get it there, you know, because we're at 2. I play Defectors for 2, and I coup Colombia. So this is actually like the best possible result. If I put 1 of my own into Colombia, then he's just going to coup it back. If I put 1 or 2 of my own, he would just coup it. If I got less than 4, then he could still take Venezuela. So I got really the best result here. OAS founded. He disrupts Cuba and Panama. Ask not what your country can do for you. I take back Panama, Cuba, and throw 1 into Saudi Arabia. The US player discards lone gunman and decolonization to the event. Plays Brezhnev Doctrine for 3. Realigns me out of Cuba. Turn 6. Defcon moves up to 3. I'm at 11 VP. I headline Junta, and he headlines How I Learned to Stop Worrying. Drops Defcon to 2. I throw 2 into Venezuela, and I realign him out of Chile. Because Defcon was dropped, I couldn't coup. But I probably would have realigned anyway, because I have the coup on AR1 because I'm USSR. I play ABM Treaty, and I coup Zaire. Camp David Accords for the event. I play Arms Race to take Egypt and Libya. 1 small step for the event. I take Saudi Arabia and Brazil. he punishes me for not spacing something last turn. So he jumped up from 0 to 2 on the space race by playing one small step. And right then I should have looked at like a priority card for me to get rid of, like Voice of America or Bear Trap, and I should have tried to space it to get those 2 points. I do it after he does it and is successful. Like he gets the 2 points and I try it afterwards with Bear Trap. He takes Mexico with 2 ops. I play NORAD. To overprotect North Korea, South Korea, and Venezuela. So the reason I'm doing this is because there are 2 action rounds remaining for me, and I have to play 2 out of 3 of these cards. I already sent something to the space race, so I have to play 2 of them. I can't play CIA created, or I lose. Which means I have to play Panama Canal and Voice of America. So, you know, he can hit me in various places, but I want to remain in South America, so I'm bumping this up to 3, so he can't kick me out fully with a Voice of America activation. Flower Power for 4. He takes Canada because I played NORAD. He takes Israel. I play Panama Canal and take back Panama with the 1. Scores Asia for 8 points, putting us to 0. Then I play Voice of America. He hits me in Panama and Venezuela, and I take back Panama. So the reason I do this is because this puts us at a neutral situation in both South America and Central America. So in Central America, we both have 1 battleground now, and you know, it's his turn now. He could take Venezuela if he wanted, and we'd be at a 1-1 battleground situation there too. So he plays U2 Incident for 3 ops, takes Venezuela and protects it. I'm going into late war. My hand is bugging out again. Pretty sure I have war games in hand for 4. I gotta figure out why this is happening. Maybe I gotta update or something. But anyways, Defcon moves up to 3, and I'm at 1 VP. I headline Latin American Death Squads. He headlines Usuri River Skirmish and drops 2 into North Korea and South Korea. I play war games for 4 ops and I coup Venezuela. And I'm very successful. And with his NORAD influence, he disrupts Panama. He plays Iranian hostage crisis and takes Panama. I take back South Korea and North Korea with Comic-Con. I also move into Nicaragua. He tries to coup Nicaragua but fails, which is some good luck for me. I take Cuba. He coups Nicaragua. I coup Nicaragua. He coups Nicaragua. I coup Nicaragua, but I don't kick him out. He spaces a card. You know, he has the +1 roll modifier on Cuba now. I coup Nicaragua, and he plays Middle East scoring, giving me 6. I send John Paul to space, and he plays Europe scoring to give me 5. So that's why he didn't coup Nicaragua when he was successful, or he didn't realign on Cuba the turn after I failed to coup Nicaragua properly, because he only had scoring cards in hand and a card that he didn't want to activate. So he had to give me 11 points that turn. I'm up to 14. So I remember this turn being very interesting. I have 3 Defcon suicide cards. Soviets shoot down Cal 7, duck and cover, and CIA created. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 cards, and 8 of them will be played. So, yeah, basically I need to send one of them to space and play one of them for ops. So lowering Defcon by playing it for ops and triggering the US event. I headline Yuri and Samantha, and he headlines Special Relationship and bumps himself into Italy. I really like Yuri and Samantha. It's like one of my favorite events in the game, just because at this point you're always struggling to like coup, you know, like low stability battlegrounds in Africa, in Central America, because you're trying to prevent dominations and stuff. And so this gives you 1 point per each of those coups, so it almost like makes up the points you may be losing by losing a domination in one of those regions, one or both or more regions. So here was basically a critical decision I had to make. I could either take back Italy to secure a Europe domination, or I could forfeit Italy to safely play. Well, actually, I should have taken Italy with one of these cards. Soviets shoot down Cal 7 or duck and cover, so that I would have gotten rid of the threat of the card and taken back Italy at the same time. But pretty sure I just like make a mistake and I screw up big time, and I put myself in a really bad situation. So I take back Italy with the wrong card. I take it back with Missile Envy. And so he coups Brazil, and he's not very successful. So basically now I screwed myself, right? And so this is something you should always pay attention to. Don't be too lazy and like avoid counting the cards in your hand and understanding what you have to do. Really, like, I should have been paying attention. So now I'm forced to play like six of these cards, and only one of them can be played to the space race because I didn't play one of them safely for ops. So really I just put myself in a situation where I can lose the game. So you got to be wary of stuff like that. But I mean, you know, you learn from mistakes like this, and also it's just from laziness. So maybe even if you learn from them, you'll be lazy like me, and you'll continue to make them. So anyways, he coups Brazil, and it's not very successful, which is really good for me because I have South America scoring. And the only way I can win this game now is if I score out enough points in this turn. He gives me a point by attempting a coup in Brazil, because of Yuri and Samantha. And then he puts his 1 op from NORAD into South Korea. I play Ortega elected for 2. Put 1 into Colombia and 1 into Brazil. So here I'm trying to put myself in a position where I just score out for 7 if he doesn't do anything about this, which is exactly enough. And what he does is play Glasnost, giving me 2 VP, putting me up to 15. And Glasnost essentially ups Defcon to 3. And then he coups Brazil again, giving me another point, putting me to 16. But he's not successful in Brazil, so he doesn't put any influence there. So that's a big lifesaver for me, because now I can just score out South America for the win, because I still have a domination. So say he took Brazil there, really there's no way for me to take back Brazil, and I can't really play any of these cards in my hand. So I would have lost the game if he was successful in Brazil, and all he required was a 4, so he had a 50% chance of being successful. Actually more than that. he had a 66% chance of being successful, because even a 3 would have put one of his own influence into it. And then with NORAD, because he brought Defcon to 2, he would bump it up to 2. So, you know, that's my mistake. Like, I should have paid attention to what was happening with all these Defcon suicide cards. But, you know, I still won. I basically got lucky that he got screwed with his dice rolls. Still a really fun game, really interesting. Always be careful of Defcon suicide situations as a USSR player. Usually you end up with them, or you end up in those situations. So just manage those cards smartly. Whenever you have a chance to space cards, do it. Like, for example, when we were trying to go to 2, I should have, tried to go there first. But anyways, I score out and I win. So, hope you guys enjoyed that game. See you guys next time.